Into my workout, for a second I started to think, I was like, man, sometimes I don't feel like waking up and pushing my body each day. But then I was like, man, what a blessing it is that I'm able to, like, that's my complaint, you know? Like, I don't want to wake up and push my body. Like, what? That's a blessing. God has allowed me to continue doing the same thing I was doing since I was little. Like, we run the hills at Hickory Hill. I mean, same thing. Like, this is work, and it's just a full circle moment, I feel, because I'm still doing the same thing, same game, but the platform that God has allowed me to have, you know, you just got to realize what it's really for, and it's for, you know, spreading the word and just trying to be a positive influence. So, you know, it's just a blessing.
And this is the guy that y'all are sleeping on, man. YouTube, what's going on? It's Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers, and we are back with, funny enough, another wide receiver 2 discussion video 1 year later, and we are still talking about the same topics. However, I have a different perspective on this than I did the year prior, and so before we really get into it, I would ask of you guys if you guys could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. I miss talking with you guys. I haven't gone live in like a week or so. I've been wanting to, but every time I get out of work, I feel like it's too late. I don't know what my audience is going to be like. And so I've just been letting this build and build and build. And recently, if you guys hadn't heard, there has been another contender in the Pittsburghsteelers wide receiver 2 drama, the wide receiver 2 circuit. And low-key, while I do agree, we could use all the help we can get when it comes to the wide receiver position, especially because with Aaron Rodgers, with, you know, this current roster that we have, we're doing everything that we can to win now. However, something that I won't stand for, right, is the slander of the current players on the team, because you see it on the screen now. Jauan Jennings is now the latest wide receiver who allegedly, potentially, possibly could come to Pittsburgh, right? And while I agree, you know, let's bring in whoever we can, you know, let's have 52 wide receivers on the roster. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. We're always going to be talking about this comment, it so seems. And so I don't have a problem with Jauan Jennings, right? In fact, I think he's pretty good. I saw a few games last year where he really took over. If I'm not mistaken, there was a playoff game where he was kind of eating. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. But there was one specific game where Jauan Jennings' name got called on a bunch. And, like, I was watching it. I forget the circumstances of it. But I've heard of Jauan Jennings. I know you guys know about Jauan Jennings. And if he is somebody who we are looking to add to the Pittsburgh Steelers roster, bring him in. You know, I have no problems with Jauan Jennings, the person or the player, right? But if we're going to be slandering our guys, if we're going to be calling out Calvinaustin consistently as we have done for about 2 years now, if we're going to be calling out Roman Wilson consistently as we've done for, like, you know, the past year, can it be for a guy like Brandon Ayuk? This reminds me of the Boondocks clip.
I could see if it was a real nigga. If you lost your hoe to T.I., I'd be like, hey, that's T.I., but Usher.
Like, I could see if it was like Davante Adams that we were talking about. I could see if it was like Cooper Kupp that we were talking about. But we're slandering Calvinaustin for Jauan Jennings, man. I don't really agree with that. We don't have to put down Calvinaustin. We don't have to put down Roman Wilson in order to bring other wide receivers up. And honestly, I just think there is a general sleepage of Calvinaustin going on the Steelers side and on the NFL media and on the internet. And so consider this video my magnum opus of let's stop sleeping on Calvinaustin. And before I can really come out here and defend him, I do have to repent for my sins, per se, because I was on here a year ago telling you guys that, you know, Calvinaustin, he's cool, but I wasn't really, you know, on board with the guy. But once again, the context is way different. It was Brandon Ayuk. It was Davante Adams. It was DK Metcalf before we got him, right? Like, it was these kind of players over Calvinaustin. I was also a guy who, you know, was bigging up Jordan Addison from Pitt, right? Like, I wanted him to come on the team with Kenny Pickett. And, you know, in order to do that, like, people were saying, oh, we have Calvinaustin, we don't need Jordan Addison. Now, Jordan Addison, I don't know if he's going to play, you know, whenever he plays, but that's a whole different topic for another day. I will say, I have been caught in the sleeping on Calvin Austin genjutsu before, right? So I admit that. I 100% admit that, but now we are far removed from that, and he's been on the team for like 3 or 4 seasons. He's wearing number 19. I used to love another wide receiver who wore 19 for us. You know, Calvin Austin has grown with the team. And so if you think I'm about to just watch everybody beg and plead for Jauan Jennings when we got Calvin Austin on the team, I just think it's a little ridiculous, right? And I just think it's a little ridiculous how much we do sleep on the guy, Calvin Austin. You see, we got an Andrew Filipponi tweet up here. Take from this what you want. It is Andrew Filipponi, but Steelers insider Mark Cabali says that the Steelers wide receiver 2 competition, Calvin Austin III is head and shoulders above everyone else. And so you look at the wide receiver room, maybe our room outside of DK Metcalf isn't necessarily the best, and that's why Calvin Austin is eating. Or Calvin Austin is just really that guy, and we just haven't been the team to really facilitate in that, because before we had George Pickens, he would beg and plead to get the ball. We also have Muth, and everybody loves Muth, and we have 19 tight ends now, and so who knows how that will factor into the Calvin Austin usage this year. But I think he is a guy to where we just need to throw him the ball, right? Like, we just need to get him more reps. And I know his route running isn't necessarily where we want it to be. However, his speed and his ability to get the ball, his athleticism is like second to none. This guy, he is a freak, right? And so I just think we need to get him the ball more. Here's a play right here. This is against the Giants, right? And before we really get into this, I want to talk about last season again. It's a shame how we finished last season. I don't think I will ever get over last season. It feels like the Jaguars year, low-key, because this Giants game, after we won this one, after we beat the Jets, after we beat Washington, it seemed like we had it, right? But anyway, we got Calvin Austin right here. I just kind of want to watch this play to see his ability. You see he's one-on-one, and he cuts inside, and because of his speed, right, he's just going to blow by the defender. And this is, shout out to Russell Wilson for this throw. This is great trust and anticipation for your wide receiver. These are the plays that we need Calvin Austin to make, because first of all, he is in one-on-one coverage, right? It's just the corner or the linebacker or something like that. It is just one defender on him. I don't believe that there's one safety up here. He's kind of deep. But past that, it's Calvin Austin and his speed. These are the plays that we need to consistently be capitalizing on. You can see George Pickens up there. Imagine that's DK Metcalf this year. All of the attention, right? We got a defender on George Pickens right here, and then the safety is rolling towards the George Pickens side. And then Calvin Austin, he is down here in one-on-one. Before he is even really open, Russell Wilson, no, you guys can't see him, but Russell Wilson knows because of his speed, he is going to be open. This could also be an Arthur Smith masterclass right here in order to free up Calvin Austin. He's probably the read all the way, but the fact that we are able to just throw it up to him in one-on-one coverage, this is something that needs to consistently happen this season, because he has all of the ability to make the plays. He has all of the ability to do so. And you can see it's 6 every time, man, every single time. Now we got another play on the screen here, and this one is against the New York Jets. And low-key, this might be another Arthur Smith masterclass, because you can see Calvin Austin at the bottom of the screen. Russell Wilson, he's going to fake the handoff to Najee, and that is the top cornerback in the game, the highest paid cornerback in the game, Sauce Gardner, one-on-one, man-on-man against Calvin Austin. I kind of backed it up too far, but you can see it. It's right here, Sauce Gardner versus Calvin Austin. We will talk about the dynamic between Sauce Gardner and Calvin Austin in another second here. But you can see one-on-one and Arthur Smith masterclass. He has another wide receiver kind of set a screen, low-key some basketball. He sets a screen, and Sauce Gardner, he gets lost in the mix. And Calvin Austin, he is wide open in the middle of the field. That is something that consistently we're not very good at, right? We do not attack the middle of the field. It's something we bitch and moan about all the time. We yell at the clouds. We make tweets about it. Why aren't we using the middle of the field? Calvin Austin can be a huge threat in the middle of the field, and don't let the size fool you. I know a lot of people are afraid that he might get cracked or whatever, but this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the AFC North. Calvin Austin is not afraid to go over the middle of the field, and you can see on this play, it worked beautifully because he is wide open. Once again, low-key a masterclass from Arthur Smith, and the yards that he is able to get after the catch is is fantastic. He's able to get 20 more yards, and granted, he is wide open. Arthur Smith masterclass all the way. Let's get a gunshot. He is wide open, but that is a play that he can consistently make. And once again, he just loses Sauce Gardner in the madness. He just loses it in the mix. And I once again reflect on last year. I remember watching this game live on YouTube with you guys. It was like we just felt so good, you know. We just felt so good at this point, and then it all came crashing down. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is not too much on Calvin Austin here. And you can see once again he just takes the play all the way. And then this is a game against the Raiders here. Justin Fields on the field right now. And I believe, where's Calvin? Calvin Austin, he's once again in the middle of the field. Look at the ability. So once again, he is one-on-one, and he just loses his defender. He loses his defender. This either linebacker, I believe this is a safety down here on the screen. He just bites. Like, this is something that we have to consistently attack. You can see he starts all the way up here, and then he attacks for some reason. Maybe it's like a play action. Maybe he tried to bite on the run or whatever. But he attacks the middle of the field, and Calvin Austin is consistently able to capitalize against this. And low-key, he should have got the ball earlier, but that is just something that Calvin Austin can do. He is a middle-of-the-field demon. He is not just a deep threat. His athleticism and his ability allows him to be this wide open, especially when defenses are sleeping on him. If we're going to consistently talk about the Steelers, we need a wide receiver too. We need a wide receiver too. Like, we have nobody else. They're not going to pay attention to the guy. Like, they're going to look at DK Metcalf. They're going to look at George Pickens. We don't have him anymore, but that's what was happening last year. Like, they are not going to give him the attention that he so deserves. And low-key, maybe I shouldn't even be making this video because I shouldn't put him on, but this is a guy that we can look to every single time because he's likely going to be open. If they are not scheming for him, if they are not paying attention to him, Calvin Austin is going to capitalize every single time, as you guys see here. Once again, he's wide open. Justin kind of gets him the ball late, but he's able to make the tough catch in traffic. Now we got to play against the Bengals. I believe this is him up here. This is like live on the fly, by the way, guys. Like, I'm seeing these plays as you guys are seeing them. So I believe this is Calvin Austin up here. He looks to be one-on-one again. We have a safety over here too. If this safety doesn't roll, it's a touchdown. And that is like the main point of this video, and this is why I believe people are sleeping on Calvin Austin. It's situations like this where we have such a weapon, such an X factor, and you guys on Twitter and on these NFL discussions are acting like we don't have him. We're acting like we need to beg and plead for Jauan Jennings. Not too much on the guy. He would be a great addition to the team. But it's like, fam, we got someone who is a one-on-one demon. And so once again, if this safety does not roll, he's cooked. The Bengals are cooked, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to see what happens. The safety, he's standing still. He attacks. He picks up. Is that Muth? Oh, my. Every time I keep rewinding too far back. But, you know, just bear with me, guys. So I believe this is Muth. This safety, he is going to bite on Muth. He's going to bite on Muth. And look at Russell Wilson, man. I can't believe this shit didn't work out because the faith and confidence in him, he knows that this safety is going to jump down on the on Muth because the linebacker, he's going to let him go. He's going to continuously play his zone, which, I don't know, I think it's kind of dumb. But you see, Muth, like, he's going to be wide open. So the safety, he makes the right choice. You know, he attacks down where Muth is. But that leaves Calvin Austin one-on-one. And what have we talked about? If you leave Calvin Austin one-on-one, you are cooked because he is way too fast for him to be guarded one-on-one. And so you can see it's a tutty every single time, man. Shout out to Calvin Austin. Shout out to Russell Wilson as well for believing in the guy. Because way to throw that ball. Like, low-key, you know, I didn't expect to do this, but Arthur Smith, he was kind of hooping last year, man. These are some good plays that we just, you know, weren't able to capitalize on. But Calvin Austin, like, it can't be overstated how good I think he can be, how good that he is, and like how much we slept on him. Because these are three just plays that if we look at the guy, if we give him a look, he's probably, you know, gonna do his thing. And so I mentioned we were gonna talk about Sauce Gardner, right? Because here is him at the NFL Combine before he got drafted, and he is now the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. I believe that. I don't know that to be true. But I know we just got a new deal, and I'm assuming it's the highest paid one, right? But anyway, this is him talking about wide receivers at the scouting combine.
And Sauce, who's the toughest wide receiver you ever had to play against?
I'd probably say Calvin Austin.
Calvin Austin was the toughest wide receiver for Sauce Gardner to guard, right? And granted, this is in college. Maybe things have changed. But at the time, we were all hype about Calvin Austin III. We missed him his rookie season because of injury. But game respects game. Like, he is a hooper, and other players recognize that. And so if teams are going to be scheming against, you know, DK Metcalf, if we're going to be ignoring Calvin Austin the whole time, to me, we have to get this guy the ball because he is going to capitalize on it. And by this time next year, if we are talking about getting another wide receiver too, if we are talking about adding another weapon to the team that isn't Calvin Austin because, you know, we just don't still believe in him, then to me, that's a colossal failure by the Pittsburgh Steelers because he is a weapon, he is a hooper, he is somebody we can look to every single time he is guarded one-on-one. There should low-key be no reason why he doesn't get the ball because he is going to win the matchup. They're going to try to guard Muth. They are going to try to guard DK Metcalf. They're not going to be worried about Calvin Austin, and we should make them pay every single fucking time, man. And so with all that said, I think that is going to do it for me for this video. Once again, I did just kind of want to update you guys on how I'm feeling about the team. Just like you guys see it, like I see the Jauan Jennings discussion too, I promise. I see everything that is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this was a topic that I felt really passionate about as we grow with the team. I talk about this a lot. And this is just like some lore about me. Every single time, you know, we have a player on the team that plays 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 4 seasons. It's like we start growing together with them. I have watched so many players come and go. You know, I'm in this new era of the Steelers. All the players I watched growing up, they're gone and retired. And so I start to really attach myself to the players that we have on the team. For example, like Dan Moore. I loved hating on Dan Moore with you guys, I'll be honest. Like, he is someone who played on the team for a while. We hated on him for a while, but at the end of the day, he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. At the end of the day, he is someone who represented us in the black and gold, and he went to war for us. And so I'm going to go to war for him. I'm going to go to war for Calvin Austin every single time because the nastiness I have seen on Twitter is just too much. Stop begging and pleading for players like Jauan Jennings. Once again, if he becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler, it's big Jauan Jennings. But stop begging and pleading for these wide receivers when we have Calvin Austin on the team and we haven't even really unlocked his full potential. And so once again, if you guys enjoyed, please, I urge you, hit the like button, leave a comment. It really helps with the algorithm. I want to keep growing and I want to keep talking about the Steelers with you guys. Look out for a live tonight as well too. Like, I really do want to get into it. By the time I get home, it's really late, but I don't think I care. I have a lot of ideas that I want to do on the live, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Anyways, this has been Zaya from Zaya and the Steelers, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.